Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. I'm your host. I am Clay Douglas. And if you'll bear with me in just one moment.
Recorded live.
All right. You know, there have been things happening here that are really interesting. It's like watching what I wrote about 10 years ago as fiction coming true. As a matter of fact, you'll see images of my books and my ventures like Solivate. It's up there right now. All of this is available on my website. This is my book, Mystery Babylon. I wrote that after probably 7 years of hell. Now, some of you watching this right now, some of you tuning in, whether you're trolls, whatever you think, whatever you have been, a lot of you have just been programmed. A lot of you just flat ass out been programmed. You watch the TV, you watch the commercials, and suddenly you think I think I might have the symptoms of that what do they call? I keep forgetting things. ADDH or something like that. But I'll go see my doctor and I'll get a pill. That basically makes you a slave. The movie The Matrix, good fiction, good photography, good big action film, but it was far closer to the truth than most want to admit. I get a lot of trolls on this internet show that I do. But these are either real misinformed people, really dumb people, or they're agents that are planted to try to discredit me. Now, I've had somebody come on and say something on this chat room before the show, and I don't save the chat, so this is your only chance to even see the chats or what the insults that people try to give me. I don't put this up on my YouTube site. You don't get to watch the insults, and it's simply a distraction. That's why I have people that take care of that for me. And we got some good people coming and listening too. I want you to understand something. First of all, I'm not just some flake off the wall here. I have started companies. I have been in business for myself for well over 40 years. I have started, I have set up distribution networks nationwide, sometimes worldwide. I have owned companies in Miami, and overnight I was reduced to poverty due to a motorcycle accident that occurred after I had broadcast my route, or been given a route to follow. Why me? Why me? I've referred to myself as a canary in the coal. And I think that's true. They have come after me, but they're coming after everyone now. If you are listening to this show, and there's a possibility you might agree with me when I tell you there's a worldwide conspiracy. There is a movement, the UN, the League of Nations, NATO, all of these organizations are designed to keep you as an obedient slave. in my opinion. And in doing this, now keep in mind, folks, I'm doing a radio show on Blog TV. Why am I not on CNN? Why am I not on ABC? I've got the experience. I've been doing this for 25 years. But you can only see me on Free American, but you can't see me in the Free American on the Free American website if you're in a major corporation, if you've got internet blockers that are looking out for porno and all that. Well, they want to label me porno because I have the Protocols of the Elders of Zion linked on my site. You do a search for Protocols of Elders of Zion, it'll probably take you to the one of the Free American sites. Because that was discovered by German authorities over 200 years ago, and the Germans have been the enemy ever since. But I believe it goes much further back than that, and much deeper than that. This is what I've explored, and what I actually wrote about 45 years ago is coming true today. It's coming true today. I have been under attack because they don't want you to support me. Because in my research, and here's my book right here, it's called Mystery Babylon, New World Order Unveiled, and if you send a donation to me at Clay at Free American today, right now, I will send you a PDF of that book. If you want a hard copy, yeah, that's available too. And you can get that on Amazon, and so folks, you know, I really know what I'm doing. I know about my research. I've been publishing for 45 years. My first magazine welcomed high times to the industry. I helped start the paraphernalia industry. I helped start motorcycle clubs. My first club went to the Banditos. My second club went to the Hells Angels. And of course, that's why the motorcycle clubs are called motorcycle gangs by the government, because they don't want you to know. We're organized. We know what we're doing. And I'm not a member of any club. Not a member. My nickname was always the Loner. I am still the Loner. I have friends that have been very effective in this. I've interviewed some of the most intelligent people for the last 40 years. I published magazines for 40 years. And I've never been sued for libel or slander. So all of these trolls, everything that you hear about me, and a lot of that is put out by the ADL. I talked about that yesterday. There's my first edition of the Free American right there on the screen. 1994, outraged by Waco, I put that out. Last year, I put out Mystery Babylon right here. And I analyzed this, and I've done stories over the years. I've also tried to come up with answers over the years. I don't want just to be I don't want you just to be the bearer of bad news. There is a lot of hope here. My scheduled guest today was Dr. Jake Wade. Dr. Jake Wade, I helped him promote and start the Little Red Schoolhouse. That grew right here in Texas, outside of Austin. That grew into Timothy Bible College, and I'm on the board of directors. Now, when I was in Tucson, I got kind of stranded in Tucson. Truck blew up. Interesting story. And I had published Thunder Riders magazine in Phoenix for years. Premier motorcycle magazine, according to New Times. I sold it, half of it for $500,000. We signed the papers on Thursday, came out on Friday, and it's Monday. I walked in the office, the CEO is white and shaking. I can't go through with it, Clay. They're threatening to make stocks crashing like a rock. They've contacted every stockholder in the company to tell them. And this is all right here in Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon has this whole story. You can have it tonight and read it tonight and understand exactly what we were going through, because that book takes you back 2,000 years. I believe personally that it goes back a lot further than that. 150,000 years ago, we were building cities in Africa. And I believe 150,000 years ago, we were flying starships or spaceships that we would call UFOs today, and I believe they're still being flown. I believe they have limited what you, and that's why, by the way, folks, that kind of power, they don't want you to know. The government doesn't want you to know. The oil companies don't want you to know. The power companies don't want you to know that we could go to the moon, have lunch at the restaurant there, and be back on this planet by noon, and be reported by 10,000 people as being a UFO. The religions are just ways to control, and some of them are beneficial, some of them are to enslave you. Depends on whether you're a Catholic or Protestant, I guess. Depends on the way you look at it. Depends on where you were born. Depends on the research you've done. What has happened here with me, folks, is I've read every science fiction book in the Fort Worth, Texas Public Library before I was 14 years old. I read Robert A. Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. I read Isaac Asimov, and I've written stories comparable to theirs. Matter of fact, one of my series, the Trevor Cameron Terrorist Hunter, is a character I created in response to John D. MacDonald's Travis McGee series about a salvage expert out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, lived on a boat called the Busted Flush, a bestseller. I read every one of them. When John D. MacDonald died, I started a series based on a character whose mother was the woman that Travis McGee slept with in the Deep Blue Goodbye. I met John D. MacDonald's son in Fort Lauderdale. We had a little discussion. I went to an event that we're supposed to come as your favorite Travis McGee character, and I came as myself, my biker self. And Maynard MacDonald looked at me and said, what character are you supposed to be? And I said, oh, I came as Trevor McGee. He said, Trevor McGee? Who's that? And I said, well, that's the son that Betty Lou, the character Travis slept with in Deep Blue Goodbye. That was her son. That's my character. Then I had to deal with letters from lawyers. I dealt with letters from lawyers. You need to destroy this manuscript. I sent the manuscripts to the lawyers with a cover letter that said, I'm not destroying these novels. You know, you have no trademark on McGee. My character, my writing's completely original. And the lawyer said, you write just like John D. MacDonald. Yes, I do. But I don't have a publisher. I'm my own publisher. I've always published my own magazines, my own books. I had over 20,000 people reading my magazines every month. Somebody on the chat room's calling me a con, yeah. Yeah, I am an ex-con. Yes, I did do time for marijuana way back in the 60s. Yep, when it was a life sentence, 99 years for having hemp in your possession. They didn't even test. It could have been hemp. Could have had no cannabinol. Could have been anything. But they made a plant illegal. That was, and when a man with a badge can come up to you and say, "What's that in your pocket? What's that I smell? Is that marijuana?" You live in a police state. And I told you that 45 years ago in the first novels that I've written. Now those novels are being rewritten now. They're in the computer. I am editing them. I am updating them with 45 years of research, and I will have a hell of a book this next year. I've also gotten financing. I'm getting financing. Not here right now, so I'm asking for donations. You get a book. You understand, you can have One Bloody Alabaster Eye right there. You can have that one. You can have One Bloody Alabaster Eye. You can have Deadly Flashes of Silver. You can have Mystery Babylon. I recommend you get Mystery Babylon. That'll let you know that you were in a war. That'll let you know why they targeted Christian identity. That's why they targeted the militias. And I've got the whole story right there in Mystery Babylon that'll tell you about the government drug dealing, about the BATF, about Fast and Furious, and although Fast and Furious hadn't happened when I wrote that, you can see what this is. This is why they are frightened of me. If you were to back me, you would have a great time here. What in the heck is happening? Let me see here. What have I got here? Okay, I'm alright. Okay. And let me make sure this one's working right. Okay. Yeah, we're doing fine. Now, you can also have your choice for a $20 donation of any of my films there too. True Face of FEMA, I filmed almost 10 years ago. Sent John Gentry in to film the first Homeland Security. And that film tells you they're declaring war on us, that we are the enemy, that and now everything that I put up here shows that. It shows that. So this conspiracy, marijuana was made illegal 100 years ago. That was to steal our #1 cash crop. That was part of the theft of the war on Americans. That war has been going on since the Communist Manifesto was implemented in the excuse me just a second. Okay. The conspiracy against the farmers, the war. Anytime a communist regime takes over a country, they go after three classes of people. They go after the farmers first. They've done that for 100 years. Stealing hemp was part of that war. They go after the intelligentsia next. That's anybody that's smart enough to know what they're doing. And frankly, I know what they're doing, and I've been trying to tell you about it for 20 years. They have to suppress me, so they've tried to paint me a picture. Yes, I started the militias. Yes, sir, I sure did. I did it in the governor's office, Governor Gary Johnson, who ran for president. I worked with presidential candidates, Charles Collins. I was his bodyguard, speechwriter, and PR person. I shook hands with Bob Dole and Pat Buchanan and Alan Keyes and a lot of other people. I've worked in and had people like Senator Charlie Duke. I've had Ron Paul. I've spoken at the same events as Ron Paul. And suddenly I've been marginalized, and after an attempted, basically it was a murder attempt. It was no accident. No accident. And I'm not the only one. They've gone after people on the internet. They've gone after people like Ted Gunderson. I've seen Ted Gunderson, how his whole body was burnt from walking through an airport. The book I wrote on One Bloody Alabaster Eye 10 years ago, I wrote a future segment. And in that future segment, my character, who looks and does like me, by the way, my character is fighting a guerrilla war in America. And I wrote it, I published it, and now it's happening here. These FEMA camps are being set up. These FEMA camps are being set up now. And there's more than that. There's your federal prison and your state prisons. They want to make criminals out of you. They're going to do that. They did that with marijuana. Now they're going to do that with your guns. That is the next step. And what I'm trying to tell you there, that the answers have actually been here for years. Now, by the way, there's $49 unlimited talk and text. You can go to my site, you can sign up on that, and get a new provider. It uses T-Mobile. We're talking about Uptown. You can get your choice of phones. You can't transfer your phones. It can be done for as little as $9, and you'll get some superior service. The answers have been around well over 100 years. And in the second half of this show, I'm going to share a commercial, which may or may not be absolutely accurate. What they're saying is history. What they're saying in history is that these answers have been created by an inventor by the name of Robert Sterling. He was a contemporary of Nikola Tesla. In other words, in the 18th century, we had inventors that understood better what's going on, far better than Thomas Edison. And still, you got to give Edison his due. Just was an egomaniac, and so was Morgan, who backed him. And they crushed Nikola Tesla. They crushed him because he couldn't figure out where to put a meter on his free energy device. Now, I just went to the Tesla convention, and I learned that national security, it's a violation of national security to create a perpetual motion machine. And these do work. The magnetics work. I've interviewed, over the last 20 years, I've interviewed enough people that have built them. I've seen them work, and you can see them work. I'm putting a link up on my website. I'm putting a link up on the website. They want $90, 98 bucks to sign up for it, to get the video on how you can build it. You can build it for under $100, they say. So for $200 you can get this, and they point out exactly what history points out, that Nikola Tesla died broke. They tried to break him, and they've tried to break me, and they succeeded with Nikola Tesla, but they haven't succeeded with me. These shows are going to be, I'm going to continue to do those. I'm negotiating with a couple of other companies. I know what I'm doing, folks, and I did start the militias, and I did start them in New Mexico, and I did just have J.B. Campbell on, who did it 10 years before me, and that information is up on my website. The stories are up on my website. This is important shit. You should treat it like it's like your life depends on it, because it does. They plan on killing. I mean, listen, just ask yourself for a minute. Here's building number 7. I did building number 7 on the cover of one of my last issues of the Free American. Why did it fall? They tried to kill me over this. And this guy right here, Alex Jones, ain't going to tell you about this. Although I just did a show on Genesis Network for Jack McLam yesterday. What this means, folks, is that I'm coming back. I'm coming out of seclusion. I'm telling you right now, if you contact me for $100, I'll turn you on to a video. I'll turn you on to the video that we're putting here. Well, if you didn't do it, somebody did, and it was 2 Israeli companies that were tapping our phones, Converse and Amdocs. Look it up. Look it up. That's who George Bush allowed to, and George Bush works for whoever, whether it's royalty, whether it's British, whether it's the Jews, whether it's the Masons, or all of the above. I don't care. I don't give a shit. As long as you leave me, my brothers, my friends, my kinfolks, my neighbors, my people alone. If they're white and they're proud of it, they want to call themselves Aryan, or they want to join the Aryan Nation, they got as much right to do that as a black does to join the NAACP. As a Muslim does the Muslim Brotherhood, or as a Jew does the ADL. And I don't care about your religion. You want to bang your head against that Wailing Wall? Hey, knock yourself out, I'll watch. You want to get down on your knees, stick your nose in the dirt, and pray to Mecca? Hey, no problem, bud. I'll even try to keep the St. Bernard up. You want to get on your knees and pray to God for a Cadillac? Hey, I'll put in a good word for you and see that you don't drop it on top of your ass. How about that? Worship the way you want. Second, the First Amendment gives us that right. Say what you want. The First Amendment gives you that right. Get my book, Mystery Babylon. Get my book, Mystery Babylon, right now. $20 donation. I'll send it to you PDF. If you want a hard copy, it'll cost you another $20. 500 pages. Rothschild history. The Rothschild, the banking system, the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, the International Monetary Fund, those are our enemies. Those are our slave masters, and they may have been our slave masters for 2,000 years. When Jesus came along and ran the money changers out of the temple, well, guess what? They're back, folks. And I intend to run them out, and I'm asking your help. I'm going to do this